dopamine equilibrium in an upside-down world.
And now your host, Brock Lawley.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brock Lawley program. My name is Brock Lawley. Let's consider this segment to be a Brock Talk. It's just me and you chit-chat. I'm chewing on your ear. Think of it as a layover. We are at LaGuardia, and we're just laying over, baby, buying time, sipping on gin and juice, chatting it up. And I'm just going to tell you a quick story. So, I'm a musician. Occasionally, I'll play weddings. And it's an interesting situation because anytime you or the average Joe Sixpack's at a wedding, it's an aunt, it's an uncle, it's a cousin, it's a friend. You know somebody, right? You got skin in the game. Well, a lot of times when you're just brought on to bring some ambiance to the situation or some romance or whatever the case may be, I'm off in the corner in the Disney movie serenading Ariel or whatever that. I'm doing something like that as a favor, or somebody knows that I do this, so I get called in. So it's an interesting situation is the point. And so if you're that guy, right, if you're not tethered to the family, the royal family of the wedding, you just get shoved off, especially at the reception, you get shoved off at this mysterious table, right? You got the crazy aunt nobody wants to sit with, the DJ sitting, eating hors d'oeuvres over there, that kind of table, right? Here's the thing about that table. Most people never find themselves there. I end up being there a lot. It's 50-50. It's like a crapshoot roll by way of who's there. Could be interesting, could be a train wreck. So this particular time, I roll up on this table, and there's an old lady there. And at this point in time, it's the only person there. And I do a lot of, I don't want to call it charity work because I'm the benefactor, but I take a lot of free time, and I do a lot with the elderly. I visit retirement communities. I have a real heart for the elderly. So where most people might be like, oh my gosh, I actually think this is going to be great. And I sit down with this lady, this older lady. She's probably in her 80s, maybe 70s, late 70s. And boy, she is just fantastic. She's vibrant. She's vivacious. She's got lots of spit and vinegar, burning the candle down from both ends of life, living it, like right down to the last wick, And funny stories, interesting anecdotes. We're chewing on each other's ear. It's a lot of fun. And so I talked to this woman for like an hour, and it seems like 15 minutes. Like one of those kind of things. And we're trading stories, and we've both been through Europe, and she has these interesting hobbies. Very, very fascinating person to talk to. So about an hour into this conversation, this lady, she has like an emotional moment. And bear in mind, we're fairly new to each other's company, so it's an unusual level of intimacy shared so quickly. And the woman says to me, look, I can't tell you the last time it was that I had a conversation like this. When you are a seasoned citizen, let's call them that. When you're a seasoned citizen, when you're older, people treat you like you're invisible. You can go through the grocery store, nobody even acts like. Sometimes I have to pinch myself just to remind myself that I'm there. This is her line, it's not mine. She's saying people just completely ignore you. Respect for the elders has completely deteriorated. The young kids have absolutely no interest in us. We're a society used to grow up at the knee of a patriarch and a matriarch like this. And this woman's all but crying. And she's saying, look, you don't have any idea how lonely it can be. You don't have any idea how we have a lot to offer. We're still alive. We're still thinking, feeling, emoting. We care about things. And it's been those of you who have followed the podcast for a long time, this is bee in my bonnet, this is something I really care about. That this is just one more symptom of a society in demise, as obviously we've decided to worship youth. When I was growing up, I watched a lot of black and white movies. It was probably a pursuit my parents had in maintaining my innocence. And I noticed the commonality in those movies is that the patriarch and the matriarch were always revered. Guy always looked classy. Storylines always revolved around the family, and these people were in a position of reverence. It's not true today. The teenage girl, age 14 to 21, is like the consumer hotspot. And society has really derailed. Because let me tell you what this lady has to offer at this wedding table that I spent an hour of my life with. She has wisdom. Now that's a very, very potent word, isn't it? A word that's not often bandied about in modern day lexicon. Wisdom. She's life experience. She has an understanding of things in a practical sense. And she knows how smarts and intelligence can be married to real life circumstances. That's wisdom, right? How one lives their life. How should one live their life? God's Word, the Bible. Oh, I know that dusty book that nobody likes on the left. Yeah, well, the thing is it has a lot to say about wisdom. It also has a lot to say about the way we treat our elders, and a society who completely and totally disrespects them is going nowhere fast. And you can see, if you look at it, the trappings of that everywhere in our society. And it's a heart of mine. Look, why are our young not... And with the federal government and the state government and local government, they force us to do a lot of things, right? They force us to put on our seatbelts. They force us to get our car registered. On and on and on and on. Why, I ask you, would they not use that state coercion to bring the young and the old together? The old could download that wisdom. What they get from that is purpose. It's a human need. Yeah, many of us aren't old, so we don't remember that. We don't feel that. But they want to be able to pass on that life experience. And the young, all you have to do is spend time with them. They could definitely use it, both in social skill and in knowledge and wisdom. Just because you have Wikipedia at your fingertips does not mean you actually know how life is to be lived. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great idea. And why is it not happening? Because our society doesn't value wisdom, doesn't value the elderly, doesn't value intergenerational connection. Well, we're wrong. We're wrong. What will come from this is a return of reverence to the people that are above us, to have respect for human beings, to have respect and empathy for people, all people. I think it's a great idea. And for that reason, it's got a snowball's chance of seeing any movement by way of solutions in Washington, D.C. But that doesn't mean that your church can't do it. That doesn't mean you can't do it. If you're raising a young family and you want to bring service to other people into your life, take your kids to the retirement community. Spend some time with them. Talk to them. Let your kids play with them. You have no idea the earth-shattering difference that will make in people's lives and your life. When I tell you that I'm the benefactor of these trips to the retirement home, I am. The World War II stories, the funny stories, the interesting conversations. I could spend 12 hours at your local Friday night bar and not have half of the interesting conversations that I have at these retirement communities. Are you going to smell some weird stuff? Yes. Are you going to occasionally have some awkward situations? Yes. But it's worth it. And real life happens there. Not in these sanitized, safe, cell phone, internet, social media circles that we call our friends. No, this is real relational work. And if you're a believer, I hope it pricks your conscience. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something we can do. We don't need a government to do this. We could do this. We could solve these problems. By making these small steps, we impact the bigger things. Thank you for listening to the Brock Lawley program. Be a people of fortitude. Be a people of character and abounding courage. Visit Brock Lawley's Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Twitter. Taking over the world!